Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Triumphant Strides. It's your boy Wiles.
And your boy AK.
There we go. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode, guys. Yeah, I'm not even gonna address the fact that we missed a week. Like, the fact of the matter is that we're here, and I'm not moving forward. I think I said this in the last one. I'm not addressing it. If we miss a week, we miss a week, but we're here. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please watch the full thing. We hope we can provide you some great insight. Amo, would you like to tell them what we're talking about today?
Yeah, so what's up, guys? Like Ross said, thanks for being here on another episode. And today, I think is a very reflective episode. We're going to be just touching and looking back at our younger selves, you know, the things we've gone through, where our minds were, and just comparing what we've learned, what we've taken to where we are now, and just, yeah, looking back at the people we've become from then. And I think a perfect place to start would be high school. I think that's when we start to develop our own not our own thinking, but yeah, we start thinking for ourselves, start
Kind of thinking though, yeah, like opinions and such, yeah,
developing your own views on the world and all of that. So I think the first thing that I want to ask and speak about from that period in high school is what did your everyday look like? What was on your mind? What were you worried about when you woke up and when you looked at the future?
Dude, it was like, I don't want to say stupid things, because I think first we should preface that everything that you worry about right now or at a specific time is relevant to where you are, right? Like at that time. So like, yeah, sure, you know, we didn't have bills to pay. Some people maybe in high school started paying bills. I'm just saying, let me speak for myself. I didn't have bills to pay. I didn't have to worry about, you know, my future per se that much. You know, I was just worried about like, I have a test. What am I going to eat at break time? You know, which girls am I going to speak to? What are we going to talk about at break? That's literally the only things that I worried about. And I think, yeah, not to diminish them and say they're important, but like to now fast forward now, like we finished high school like 4 years ago. We just exposed our age, but yeah, we finished high school 4 years ago. And yeah, I think the difference is quite apparent. But I think even inside of high school, like from grade 8 to grade 12, there's also been like crazy changes, right? So like grade 8, it was definitely about like, which girl am I going to speak to? Like, I'm finally going to speak to that girl.
Popularity.
Yeah, you know, kind of situation. And then you get to matric, and now like you're friends with all of these girls that like when you were waking up in grade 8, like, I really want to talk to that girl. And now it's like, like, by the way, just study for the test kind of situation, you know? And then by the time you get to matric, like you're worried about the varsity that you're going to go to. Like, are your friends still going to be in your life at the time? You know, what is the degree that you're choosing really the one that you want to do? You know, so I think for me, like back then, it was very high school focused, and I think I'm very privileged that was the case. Or like the most of my worries at the time is like I was worried about school, you know, but like my life inside the high school bubble, like I wasn't really worried about things outside of that. You know what I mean?
Do you think that like so say outside of school, you at home now, whether it's the weekend, holidays, what was really worrying about outside of like, in that high school period, but outside of the high school thing? So like, were you thinking, let's say gym for example, you know, were you thinking, I really want to work on, you know, like those other thoughts in that time? Or do you think it was
it was mostly just the stuff in high school? I think it spilled over, because personally for me, I believe that when you're in high school, your whole life is surrounded around high school. Like even from where you're gonna go out that night or that weekend is like, where are the girl that I like, or where are the popular people from other schools gonna be, you know? So it was never like, let me go to the gym because I want to care about my health. No, it was like, where what's happening where, you know, which is, it's cool. I think that's relevant for the phase at the time. And what about you?
So like we've said this a lot, but Wells and I have been friends for a very long time, so I think, you know, obviously similar things to you as well. So which girls, you know, do I want to talk to? Where do I want to go out? Who can I make friends with? You know, popularity, I think for me was, I think so the things you said, but then maybe try like add my own part of it. A big thing for me was popularity / like fitting in, you know, and whether that stemmed from an insecurity thing or like, I'm not too sure exactly how that came about, wanting to be the most popular or be known by everyone, know everyone, you know. But also a lot, I guess there was pressure as well, you know, like people saying, Amo, you should be X, Y, and Z, you know, but a lot of things. But I think my main thinking at the time was, how do I become someone that can be in every room, but not in every room like we speak about it now, where I can network and talk to everyone. It's just, how does everyone like me? How can I be known by everyone?
Did you end up achieving that at the time? Did high school Amo do that?
Yeah, I did. But it's one of those things, like, after I did, I realized that it means nothing. But again, like you said, it's all relative to the time. So I guess at that time I did like being known by everyone. I did like being considered popular. It did make me feel that, not accomplishment, but that sense of accomplishment that it did, that, oh yeah, I can be someone that people like. But yeah, I think really every day outside of school, going out, and girls, it was really just more so, what do people think about me, people's perception of me. And yeah, I think that translated into everything else I was doing, because I don't know, I'm trying to think of what I was even doing. Like, for example, even rugby, like me doing rugby. Okay, it was my sister, but she was like, yeah, no, girls like guys that play rugby in high school. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I want to play rugby, So it was very much always about other people. I think that's where most of my worries actually were always about other people's perception, other people's thoughts, other people, what other people say. And yeah, I think that was most of my outlook throughout high school. My main worries were other people.
Okay, and then now let's compare then, now fast forward to present day. 2024, 5th of September. Quarter to 2 in the afternoon. what has changed? What are the general changes between Amo then and Amo now?
Excuse my French, I don't give a fuck about anyone. I don't give a fuck about what anyone thinks.
Fair enough.
To put it nicely, I don't care about people's opinions of me. I don't care. I'm living for myself now. I think I said in the podcast, but that biggest change really came 2 years ago, when I decided that I want to change my life as a whole. And from then, like you said, part of being on a self-growth journey, self-discovery journey, entails being alone for a certain period. And in that being alone part, I realized how not hearing people's opinions, not being involved with other people doesn't affect me. Like, I'm not dead because I don't know what's going on with other people, or they don't know what's going on with me. And then I was able to realize that, I can do things purely for myself. I'm able to be selfish, and I think that's the biggest thing, that I'm able to exist and live for myself. I'm able to make decisions for myself. And high school Amo, trying to give an honest answer.
What do you think about that? Let me ask you as well as, what are you most proud of high school Amo for, though? Like, let's not beat high school Amo up too much. What are you? Sorry, hold on, guys. Sorry, I thought I messed up this. What are you most proud of high school Amo for? Like, what did he do right?
Okay. So just to quickly answer the last one again. So the second thing, like, biggest difference. So obviously me not caring about people, but I think me believing in myself. That is another big thing. I always, I've heard and knew that I had potential. My parents have done a very good job at letting me know, like, yo, you have so much potential. You have so much potential. And I've always had good friends around me that never put me down to where, like, I have to question that I'm smart or good enough or whatever for anything. But now I know that I can do anything. Like, I can achieve anything I set my mind to, and I'll actually act on it, not just believe. And so I think that's the biggest difference. And then in terms of what I like about high school Amo, what he did right, he was honest with himself. I think everyone who knew me in high school, I don't think this was I don't like it too much to the extent I did it too, but everyone who knew me back then knew when I wasn't okay. They knew what I was going through. They knew I was very open and in touch with my emotions and feelings. And a lot of people have seen me cry. Like a lot. Like too many people. In high school, I wasn't shy of holding back my emotions, of being true to what I'm feeling and who I am. And I think even though a lot of things I was doing was for other people's validation or whatever, I never did something I didn't like. I was trying to find validation within those things I liked, but I never compromised myself. For example, like, it was a best friend of mine who started showing certain behaviors I didn't agree with, and at that young age I was like, I don't see my life going like this, and I cut them off, you know. So
Whoa.
I really appreciate that I was able to be true to myself. Even if I could lie to the world, do whatever, I was always true to myself. And yeah, I think that has helped me at least know when I'm not okay, know when, no, this is what you're actually going through. Like, you need to cry now. You need to, obviously, growing up, things become more toxic, deal with things, you know, toxic masculinity, whatever. But I think high school armor, that's what I appreciate the most. And yourself, what did Welile do back then that is a standout thing that you appreciate?
I think like branching out, you know, like being able to not be as shy as I was like in my adolescence. Like how old is that?
It's not
13?
adolescent, like high school, not the high school period.
Let's say primary school. Let me say that, because I was a very shy kid, bro. Like a lot of things. Yeah, primary school was not like the best experience for me. But yeah, like I think in high school, like meeting the people that I did, meeting you, meeting other people, and branching out and going out, and not like always being at home and etc. Like that kind of helped me become somebody who can like speak to people. I can make friends with people. I can relate with people on many different levels, you know. And then also the other side of outside of high school, the way that I interacted with people there, I can like, I don't want to say code switch because that isn't necessarily the best term, but I can like associate with many different types of people. And I think that skill though, or that ability was like nurtured through high school, of like going out and being, you know, extroverted, being friends with people who are very extroverted, and that carried over to me. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like that was always who I was meant to be, you know. So yeah, I think that's the best thing that he did was not shy away and not like shut himself up. Yeah,
No,
shout
I
out
like
to that nigga. Stupid kid though, but shout out to him for that. Yeah.
No, I like that. Okay, and now looking back at, and I remember we've had chats as well about how, you know, certain moments, I think like breakthrough moments in our journeys, your journey has been some sort of reflection with what would my younger self think of me now, you know, when we've changed certain behaviors, when we've touched back with our younger self. So what significance does that play to you, you know, like looking or asking that question, what would my younger self think of me now? And why does that play such a role in your, like why does it hold the weight that it does when, I'm gonna stop asking, you know what I'm asking.
Sure, yeah, I get what you're saying. No, I think it's the most significant role. Like I think it's the thing that started me off in like going down the path that I'm on right now, and it's the thing that still affects me to this day. Granted, I feel way better about it because when I was asking myself that question before I started my journey, I was never satisfied. Like, yo, if, you know, 5-year-old me or 7-year-old me, let's just say a more impressionable version of myself, walked in and saw me like doing the things I was doing, living the way I was living, like would he be like, oh wow, we actually, like, wow, I want to be like that guy? Would he just be like, you know, I've said this before, like I think in the first one of the first 2 podcasts, that kind of a thing. It still plays today, and I say that I think it's better now because I think if 7-year-old me saw me and be like, wow, that guy's actually kind of cool, it would be great. But 14-year-old version of me, if he saw me now, would he be like, yo, that guy is sick? Maybe a little bit, but you know, there's still so much more to achieve, and that's why like it's a consistent thing that's like always playing in my mind, bro. It's probably the biggest driving force, bro. You know, did I answer the question?
So now I asked that, when you say, you know, would younger you be happy with you now, does that mean that you are aware that, or you realize growing up that you have wanted more? You know, maybe like we've gone through phases in life where, you know, some things weren't like we said, they weren't the priority then, you know, we're growing up, discovering new things. But do you think you've always known or always expected yourself to do great things, even if it's not how you see it now, like you want to be a billionaire, but you've always seen more for yourself, and that's why you're able to say that younger me wouldn't be happy with me now? Or is that just a reflection of you, like, you know, how you feel about yourself?
I think like there's a layer of that a little bit, but I think the main thing is that like I always like I used to watch like a lot of TV growing up, and like I'd fall in love with like certain ideas about things. So like for example, Bruce Wayne. Like as a kid, you see Bruce Wayne, you're like, oh, this guy's rich and he's a superhero. That's so cool, and you look up to him. And then for the nerds, you learn that Bruce Wayne is actually fucked up in his head. That yeah, he has like borderline personality disorder, whatever. Yeah, that's for the comic book nerds. But yeah, you know, seeing Lionel Messi, like, or you know, you searching like Cristiano Ronaldo Bugatti, you know, like things like that, and you look up to these people and you see the things that they achieve, and you're like, yo, I want to be like that. Do you know what I mean? And you kind of realize that the older version of yourself, so like let's just say you see that video of Cristiano when he's 25 and you tell yourself, when I'm 25 I want to be exactly like that. And then you live life and you're like, okay, you understand people are dealt certain cards, and it's like, okay, you need to work a little bit more. You know, you're not in the same position, you're not as talented in football, but maybe something else, you know, things like that. So I think looking up to people was probably the thing that like triggered it. But yeah, there was definitely a layer of like I knew kind of that, like, you know, I'm gonna achieve it. I still know to this day. You know, what about you?
So okay, so first question before I ask this, significance of my younger self, like what he would think of me now, stems I think from the fact that, so I said just now that I've always been very in touch with my emotions, and I think that just comes from being, I don't know, growing up didn't have the best, you know, childhood, I guess, in terms of memories, and because of that, you've seen it, I like to play this big brother role. You know, I try to help young kids, young boys who need the help that I wish I would have gotten, who need a hug, who need advice, whatever it is. I try to play that role that I think I needed then, and I think now just a person, but personify my younger self, you know, as if he's here now. Still, and I do that same thing. Like, am I the right person to be giving younger me advice? You know what I'm saying? Like, in this position I'm in now, would he be listening to this advice? Am I the right person? If the answer is no, that's usually when I make change, you know. And I guess it stems from that, just wanting to be the best role model and friend and supporter and whatever I can be, because I think I want it for myself. And look, I did it with my younger brother. He can attest that I was solid for him. So I think that's just me. I've carried that into my being, and I do it with myself. So when I'm meditating and reflecting on where I am, I have a photo of my baby picture. I have a baby picture. I have a baby picture.
I didn't even clock. I was just like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Baby picture in my bedroom, and like when I'm meditating, I'll put it in front of me and I look at it, you know, as I'm feeling, as I'm literally speaking to that younger boy, and just healing myself, but also helping myself and getting insight from him. Like, yo, you're not the guy that can help me right now because you're doing XYZ. And so that's the significance I think that has on my life, and why when I do what's the word? Like when I do English, when I'm trying to like get my motivation from that pool, from that source, you know, that's why actual change happens, because it's such a deep rooted, you know. And then
I like that, yeah.
The second, what did I ask you that you just answered now?
So there's the first one of why, like, what significance does it play, and then you also said no, I completely forgot. No,
sorry, guys.
Sorry, damn, I completely forgot, bro. Cut.
Yeah, I have to.
Dude, I forgot. What did you ask me?
Because you speaking about Bruce Wayne, and did you always have that? Okay, I remember the question.
That wasn't the question.
No, it wasn't.
Did I always have that?
Like, did you always? No. Did you, as a kid? I'm like, did you always know you wanted to be more?
Oh, yeah, that's what you was. Not
yeah.
Did you, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So wait, what's the second question again? Not your one, my one. The second one, that because we're doing general, and then the second one was, I forgot it.
Was this general?
Yeah, this was general.
You did that. You did your other one.
Which one?
The worries.
Yeah, the worries. Okay, then we're gonna move on to the third.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And sync.
So to answer the second question, I think, actually, yes, I have always known, like I said, life, you know, will, as you grow up, there's certain insecurities you pick up, certain doubts or whatever you pick up along the way. But I think because of my parents especially, I've always known that I'm going to be great. Like, I'm going to do amazing things. And an example of like why I believe this, so I'm from the Free State. When we first moved to Joburg, we were staying in a normal townhouse. You know, my dad finding his feet in Joburg, New City, whatever. And at that time, we weren't wealthy or anything. And he would look at me in the eyes as a little kid and tell me, we're going to live in a mansion. And he'd tell me, I'm going to buy a BM. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to do this. And I'd see him working so hard and still, being there for me, doing whatever. And then I saw him actually do those things. Like, you've seen our house, almost said where shit. You've seen our house.
Yes.
And that was like the mansion that he's told me 7-8 years earlier. And you've seen the car or the cars. And so seeing him actually say it out loud beforehand, work for it, and achieve it, I was like, what is stopping me from achieving anything? I think I saw early on that anything is possible. And so I think, from then, I've just always known that, well, if this guy here can do it, he's my dad, so why would I not be able to do it? And obviously, like I said, my parents making sure they tell me all the time the potential I have. So I think from young already, I've always known I wanted more. But then, like I said, as you grow up, get to high school, priorities change a little bit. Some things seem more important than other things. And yeah, but I think I always...
Do you think, though, if like you didn't have like your parents encouraging you and saying like, yo, you have potential and such, that you wouldn't have thought, okay, now I'm gonna be somebody one day? Like, without that, do you think there's no ambition, there's no vision of an ambitious Amo?
It's difficult to say because I do believe in everything happens for a reason, but also in that, like, I don't know if I believe that, am I here because I was always meant to be here now? So like the knowledge I have, the beliefs I have, am I here because I was always going to find my way here, or is it because of the way things happen that I'm here? So it's difficult to say because, and I've said out loud before, I used to struggle with mental health issues, and like I said before, it was my fault because I used to take it and then I'd want to make it worse. I'd want to hold on to it, make it worse, So I don't know. Would I have been able to overcome certain things? Would I have been able to come out of my shell? I don't know. So, like, I like to believe that it's always been inside of me, that like I'm here because I was always meant to be here. But again, life, we don't know. We don't know what the other alternatives look like. But I know that my parents played a very, very, very big part from young, at least, because even when I didn't display it or I wasn't acting like I'm aware that I know my potential, I always knew. Even when my actions, like even when I used to be a type of student that didn't really try in school, I would be failing and be okay with it because I know that I'm smart enough to make it back up. So I've always known it. So I think that's what they've helped me with. But then I had to make sure that I actually know it and act on it. So, yeah.
And then to close it off then is like, what do you think then are the things that you've carried over? So we've addressed like the things that you've done, right? Cool. But what are the things that you've carried over? So you've kind of addressed one already is like your ability to switch on. That's great. But what else? Like, what do you think has been the key thing that you've been able to carry over from back then? So like, let's just say the time period between 2015 and 2020.
I've always been a hard worker, bro. I've always been a very, very hard worker. Just lazy. Like, for example, this example I just gave now about me in high school, me getting 30%, 40%, 50% wasn't that I didn't understand the work, I couldn't do it, I just didn't do it. But every time I did do the work, I'd get amazing results, and from, I think it was grade 9, 10, when I was like, okay, I can't keep doing this thing where I don't just do the work. I only do it last minute. I used to be an exam warrior. My term marks were horrendous, and then exams, it looks like I'm, So from grade 10, I think when I realized that, okay, I have to do this all the time, I always knew I was a hard worker, but then seeing myself from grade 10 onwards actually working and getting results, whether school, in the gym, rugby, like whatever it was, I've always known that I am a very hard worker. Again, I really want to credit my dad to that. I saw it firsthand. And I think because of that, I've always been a very hard worker, and it's really benefited me now. Like, I don't look at hard work and I can't do this. It's hard work. Just do it. When I think of I need to study, I already know it's hard work, that I'm putting in hard work into this. I don't try and shortcut it or think I understand hard work, what it is, that I have to do it, and I'm capable of doing it. It's just obviously the shortfalls, wherever. But I think the biggest thing that I've carried over is my work ethic. Yeah. Yourself?
I don't know. I don't think there's much that I've carried over from that time. Like, I feel like I've completely shed that version of myself. I think maybe like the way I treat people. Like, I think I still have like a kind heart. You know what I mean? Like, of course, like I love to banter and I like taking the piss out of folks all the time. But like genuinely, like I care about people quite a lot. You know, even though nowadays like I don't always have time to like check up and like call and like da-da-da, but like I still want to make sure that people are doing okay. You know, like still like if someone can't pay for food, like dude, I'll pay for your food. Like you just give me back the next time I can't, for example. You know, things like that. So I think that's probably, you know, also something that stemmed from my parents is they give quite a lot. And they've kind of instilled that in me. If you're in a privileged position, like always help those, especially the ones that you care about. So yeah, but other than that, I'm not too sure, bro, about anything else that's carried over. Because like I think a lot of like with regards to my work ethic and the way that I see the world, all of that has changed. Like from my politics to like my pretty much everything has changed, you know. But I wouldn't say that like I was always a hard worker. I wouldn't say that. I think I was always smart for sure, but I wasn't always a hard worker, dude. I wasn't always like, you know, I didn't always have drive. I didn't always have tenacity. So I think probably the kindness is the thing that carried over the most.
I like that. And now, before we finish off, what change have you seen from me in high school to now? That for you is just the standout, not a standout, but something that you're like, damn, that's the thing that I've seen change in. I know there's a lot, but
there is a lot. There's too much. But I think like,
well, let me say the one that you're most proud of.
That's easier because I've seen like the traits that you have like get 10x. Do you know what I mean? Like for example, like your drive. Like there were times when we were in English, but we're like, you know, competing for marks. Like how much did you get for that test? How much did you get for this? And we had that drive, but now it's like tenfold because there's bigger things at stake and such. What am I most proud of you for? I think is the way that you deal with like situations now. You know what I mean? Like I never ever expect you to deal with the situation and like be like, oh no, it is what it is, like keep it pushing. But the way that like you are able to stay strong in very deep situations and come out of them, you know, after however long they last. It could be a year, it could be 2 months, it could be 2 days, but you always find a way to come out of it. Granted, I know that it's not easy. I know that it's not, you know, like in the moment it sucks and it's down bad, and that's life. It's okay for it to be like that, but you don't like sit and dwell on it and let it affect you and consume you, you know. And I know that it's not easy, so yeah, man.
Thanks, bro. I really do appreciate that. Sure. I have been actively working on that, so it's nice feedback to hear. Okay, you, what have I, the one thing that I'm most proud of? One thing I'm most proud of. It's difficult to say because like you said, you shed a lot, you know. The one thing I'm most proud of. What else?
Amo.
I'm trying to think. I know you, you know. Like I know you. The one thing, I'm
leaving all of this in, by the way.
Had it, guys. Okay, I'm gonna try to find a way to like word this, but I think your approach to yourself, you know, like you said, you've always been someone that cares a lot about other people, that helps other people, that's there for other people. You've always been, you know, a smile in the room, a friend to everyone, you know. And it's not like you weren't being true to yourself, you know. I think you've always been, that's always who you've been. That's not English, but
that's right.
Is it? It sounds so wrong. But,
sorry, even when you said you have a picture of your baby, you have a photo of your baby picture, that also made sense. Sorry, just if you are still here from the beginning, that made sense, by the way. But yeah.
But yeah, so I don't think you weren't not being true to yourself, but I think now you are actually the kindness that you showed to everyone else, that how much of yourself you gave to everyone else and how much you were there for everyone else. You've been able to turn that into yourself. You know, I've seen you now actually care about yourself physically. You've cared about yourself mentally, emotionally, like workily, you know. You've really taken that energy that you give to other people, put it into yourself, and everyone around you who's ever known you from any period in life has seen it, because it's a continuous like evolvement that you keep on making. You know, you don't just, it's not, oh yeah, that transition was made from high school to second year, or high school to now. Even from high school to now, we can break it down to so many different points where you can see, like, a random person can see that even if they don't know you, Welile looks good. I don't know what it is about him that looks good, but everyone says you look good. And I think that's because you weren't faking that love that you gave to everyone else. You've never faked any of that intentionality, any of that anything. So now that it's back to yourself, the results of it really do show, you know. And yeah, bro, I think like I said, I've known you. Obviously I can't say certain things on camera, but you know, like I've seen you, I think, through a lot of your phases in life, and it's just, I'm proud of how much you've been able to turn that to you, bro. Like really take that and use it as your superpower, you know, not just something you can give to others, but use it as your own superpower. And yeah, bro, I've loved seeing you grow. And
that's cool. Thank you, man.
But yeah,
Thank
bro.
you.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm most proud of. There's a lot, but
yeah, that's a beautiful note to end it off on, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No, of course, bro.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Triumph and Strides. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below, share with your friends, follow the Instagram, follow the TikTok, and we'll see you in the next episode. Amo,
stay safe, love you guys, take care, and happy growing.